Hi everybody, it's Marcy, and I'm excuse me, getting ready to work on my 3 items using envelopes for Dear Julie Julie's July Just Junk Journal Challenge. And I do have 3 envelopes pulled out. This one is 6 inches by 8.5 inches. This one is 4 7/8 by 7 1/4. And this one is smaller. It's 5 1/2 by 4. Don't know that I'm going to use that one yet. And this is going to be a very quick video because I really have no idea how I'm going to decorate these. I just had the idea for 2 of them at least of how I want to use them. So for this one, I'm just going to glue the envelope shut. And for the larger one, I've actually taken it apart. So, for the larger one, I'm going to actually use this as a page in my journal. I'll be cutting it here in a moment, but this will be, that'll be the where the signature is. So that will be one page, this will be another page, and this side will have a side tuck on it. Now, because of the size of this, because it's 8.5 inches, I actually need to trim about 1/8 of an inch off of each side. So, I'm going to do that. And the reason I'm taking 1/8 of an inch off of both sides instead of just 1/4 inch off one side is because it is going to change the way it looks, because there's some curves and angles, and I want it to be the same on both the top and the bottom. Okay. So you can see, oh, plus that got rid of those little flaps. Okay. But you can see how I lost a little bit here and a little bit of the angle here, which is fine, but like I said, I want it to be the same at the top and the bottom. So that's why I took 1/8 of an inch off. So that one's ready to go. For this one, what I want to do is I want to make 2 really long top tucks. And since what did I say this was, 7 1/4 inches long, my pages at most are 8 1/4. So the tuck is going to take up, it'll be sort of a combination top and side tuck. So I think this one's going to look kind of neat. So what I want to do is I'm going to line this up in my trimmer so that this corner is right on the cut, and then the opposite catty corner diagonally is on the cut mark. All right, and I'm just going to cut it. So then when I go to use these, and yes, again, I'm going to have some little pieces that weren't glued down that come out, and that's fine. I'll just take those out, and I will go back in. There's a couple of places I'll need to add a little glue on the inside, but that's fine. So then when I have these, pull out one of my book pages. So when I have these all decorated up, and they go on a page, if it's all decorated and stuff, that it will make a really neat, I think, a really neat page decoration. Okay, so for now, that's all that I know of. I knew when I pulled out these envelopes or started thinking about what to do with envelopes, I know that I wanted to use the large one to make actually another page in my journal. And I know I wanted to do this. The third envelope, I have no idea. And I think for me on these, there will probably be a lot of collaging involved. On these, it may involve putting some of the images from my book that I don't necessarily want to keep in as journal pages, but so perhaps some collaging on this as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop the video here since I have no idea what I'm going to do with these yet, because otherwise the video will be 3 hours long, and I'll come back at the end and I'll show you what I've got. So for you, I will be right back. Okay, I'm back and I've got my 3 items made using envelopes. I'll start with this small one. I'd shown you the 3 envelopes I was going to use. Actually, I showed you 2. With the third one, I used a small envelope and I cut off the end flaps, and I've just made a little notebook out of it with a little tie closure. Flip it open and I put my signature in upside down. I used additional envelopes to make my notebook pages out of. So you'll see on some of them, there is some print on them. So just a simple little notebook, and I used some of the pages from my book to cover them, and here I used a little bit of that green masking paper, and I even covered the back because I anticipate I'll put this in a pocket so that it can be pulled out and used for writing. Tie that later. Then the 2 envelopes the envelope that I cut on a diagonal, I just put down some neutral papers. I used some of the coffee dyed print test paper, some book paper, a little bit of the calendar paper, put that down, put a little bit of napkin on each one, and then I finally broke into my linen piece and put some of that on top. So I really like those long top tucks. And then for my third one, I'd already cut the envelope, I believe, before I started. Oh, I forgot to do one thing. And I told you this is actually going to be a sheet in my signature. So on this panel and this panel, covered it all in book pages. That's a page out of the book I'm using. This is another image out of the book. I put down a little bit of napkin and a little bit of fabric with a stamp. Inside, I used more book page. This side, I turned into a pocket. So that'll be a little side pocket. And this I meant to glue down, which I will do now. And that will be a little side. So, and then I just put a little strip of fabric there just to give a little added interest. And as we go on, I could add a little bit of snippet or something to that, but I just wanted to get all of that done. So that is my 3 envelopes. And I'm really glad I didn't do this on camera because it did take me a good long while to get this done. So next up, I've got book pages, and I already know I'm probably going to need some pockets. I don't think I have, other than this one, I'm not sure that I have any actual pockets for my journal yet. I have to go back, let's see. I know I made top tucks and bottom tucks. And paper clip. I made a belly band. Tack. Yeah, I haven't actually made, well, except for the privacy envelope. That's the only pocket I've made so far. So, I know I'll need some pockets. So, in my next video, we'll be working on book pages. And until then, please be safe, stay healthy, happy crafting, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.